Gary, let's take a moment and say thank you to our sponsors at Fuji Sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've been working with us for a very long time, not only on this podcast, but also at the Academy. And I'm taking a peek at their website right now, and they have a brand new ultra light gi. Now, this is mind-blowing. I'm looking at my size. A2 is 2.75 pounds. I mean, that's under 3 pounds. That's mind-blowing.
I could even lift that. And go to their website, fujisports.com. Check it out. Anything you could need for your jiu-jitsu journey, you can find at fujisports.com.
Hey, it's been a while since we started RŌL TV project.
It's been a while since you started it. I did come in later, and I can't say enough about it, especially the new platform. It's really amazing, fully customizable, and you know a little bit more about the structure.
Well, so two things you need to know. One is the subscription service, which is $9 a month. You can get access to hundreds of videos, hundreds of drills, techniques, and so on in a very nice library categorized as you need them. But two different lessons. You can actually purchase those individually and you own them. So the subscription is not tied to it at all. You can look at things like spider guard, half guard sweeps, half guard chokes, folding pass, and so on. There's so many of them out there. So take a look and see where you need help with the videos, right? 30%. If you type in RŌL Radio as a code.
Who doesn't like saving money? Go to RŌLAcademy.tv. What's up, everyone, and welcome back. If you haven't already, please remember to hit the like, share, subscribe, download, listen, and whatever other button there is, and leave us a review wherever you do listen. That ensures that we can continue bringing you the great guests and amazing content that you have come to expect. On this episode, Johhny Tama discusses how he deals with big changes, learning while teaching, the importance of cross-training, the 60-40 student-instructor relationship, and why black belts must teach. Here's the RŌL Radio with multi-time Pan American champion, IBJJF World Champion, and the first Hispanic athlete to win the IBJJF World Championship in the black belt division, Johhny Tama.
Welcome to RŌL Radio.
And we alive.
There we go again.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You seem like you're on fire. You're ready to go. No?
Really?
That's what it appears
like. This
like.
is what me on fire looks like. This is about as good as it gets.
I'm a little cranky today.
Are you?
Well, I don't know. It's like one of those days where, like I don't feel sick, but I don't
Did
I feel
you get any sleep?
No, I kept waking up.
There you go.
Like
Me too. I woke up every hour on the hour.
It was ridiculous. And then my kiddos got up at 6 or something. It was way earlier, and I kept waking up all night, and I don't know. Like I'm just like you know what I mean? It's like you're not 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's open mat at 6:45. Get your frustrations out on those guys.
Oh, I will.
I won't be here.
That's my 100% plan.
Okay. Well,
I am getting.
Unfortunately, this doesn't get released till later, so they don't know.
They won't know it's coming.
Before we get to our guest, Tap Cancer Out. They just finished. They had their tournament here in Chicago just this past weekend. We had a bunch of people from the Academy compete. A lot of people did really, really well. So hats off to them. But if we talk about them before that, at the time of this release, they will be going to Jacksonville, Florida, Hatfield, in Philly, Danvers, Massachusetts, Danvers again, a second day. They got 2 days there. So that's coming up on the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th. And I know December seems like it's far away, but it's not.
It's not.
December 17th is Global Grappling Day. If you don't know what that is, go to www.tapcancerout.org/tournaments. They are looking to donate another $1.2 million to their 10 beneficiaries. And everything is open. You can sign up now for any of those dates. Everything's ready to go. So head there to that website and sign up.
Yeah, no, awesome. I actually ran into John this weekend when I was at the local event here. So, what a great guy! It's always great to shake his hand and see how number one, the tournaments organized.
Those guys do
for
a great
local
job, man.
For a small tournament, phenomenal job. But it was also good to see him. So it's always, and I failed to take a picture. I'm always
That's
that guy.
why you were up all night last night. It's eating at you.
Like, I always want to take pictures with everybody and post it, and then I never do. And it's like, oh, forget it. Never mind.
Well,
anyway,
we'll take a picture today.
Let's get to the conversation today. We got Johhny Tama in the house. And first of all, first things out of the way, okay? Happy birthday. You are no longer in your 20s. You are officially considered an old man.
Yeah. Jesus, everybody says the same.
The big question is, do you feel smarter? Do you feel smarter? That's the important part.
I mean, there's book smart and there's street smart.
Oh.
So,
which one are you?
I feel like I'm more street smart. Whenever I was doing the book smart thing, I was also thriving. But honestly, I grew up in Latin America and I was a little bit outgoing. So I was a lot in the streets. And I feel like sometimes street smart overcomes book smart in many facets in your life. So I feel like very well experienced now. I do not feel old though. I still feel the same 18-year-old kid that I was doing jiu-jitsu for as a dream, and now, well, the dream came true and all that, and I'm living it. So I don't know. I still feel the same, young. Maybe my body may not heal the same.
Oh, let me break this to you. After 30, everything slowly starts falling apart. I'm just messing with you, but no. Listen, it's awesome. First of all, happy birthday again. And I know you were right before we started recording this. You were sharing that your family flew in, your mom was there, your sister, everybody visited you. How was the celebration? How was the celebration?
Well, honestly, it was pretty tight to see my family. Like I told you earlier, my mom came over, and every time she's here, she tries to take care of me, as like any mom will do. And, fix this, do this, I'll cook this for you. You're not folding the sheets the right way. Let me show you. I'll do this. I'll redo this for you. Rag, left my cat in the fix. I mean, I'm going to clean your bathroom, Mom, but I cleaned it before I left to Panam's. No, it's still, let me clean it. Oh, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm not going to tell her not to do it because I guess that's how she showed me love, So it was pretty good. Also, she cooked for me some traditional plates, meals from Ecuador, She left some prepared in the fridge for me too. And it's like, listen, you got this many days to eat this. Da, 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 da. It's like giving me indications. My sister came over from New York. My stepdad also came over. I haven't seen him in like 4 years probably. I mean, only on FaceTime, but it's not the same. My mom comes over every year. Just COVID, the 2020, she couldn't come, but 2019 she came over. I saw her there in Dallas, but then COVID happened. So last year she came over like around September. This time she planned this trip with my family to come for my birthday because it was the trio. So I don't know, I'm pretty stoked. I mean, I went out with dinner with my students, invited a couple friends. Didn't do anything like crazy. The only thing I would say I tried the Irish car bomb. That was pretty sick.
How did that work out?
Yeah. I worked in the bar industry for a little while, and when people would order those, we'd just go, no. Nope, we're not doing it.
I mean, honestly, I like it. I have one, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I know people do 4, and that's when you get extremely messed up. But I did one, and I drank a beer, have fun, went home. Nothing crazy, honestly. Now these days, I don't feel like when I was 16 to 19, I was like partying super hard, going to clubs, raves, this and that, doing just life. But I don't know. I just didn't find anything that just instant happiness, like it was just a moment thing. It was like, oh yeah, I'm happy right now, but then it didn't really give me anything in the long term. So that's why I cut it, and I just kind of stopped partying and doing the drinking and all that. I drink sometimes. I'm human, I like to have fun. I never heard a good story that started with water and ice, So I was like, okay, well, I have some drinks. My birthday dinner was pretty sick. My friend brought me this frame with this moment, I'll say iconic for me, at least when I won words. I was like, screaming, and I was whole caught. And well, Like I was so light because I had to cut so much fucking weight that my veins were all ripped and I was like super like sharp. And so they made this drawing thing and put it on a frame, so I was pretty sick. But yeah, I mean, honestly, just grateful that I spent time with people that I care about, that care about me. Recently, I had a bunch of big changes happening in my life before my birthday. Let's say the past 2 months. I kind of let go. I got let go from this teaching job I had at this place, and a couple of relationships there too. So, you know, big changes. And the only thing I can think of is like, well, this is kind of how things were supposed to start in your 30s now. These people shouldn't be in your life, or this situation shouldn't, all these things shouldn't be there. This is a new beginning. And now I'm just kind of, before I was thinking, well, what I'm going to do when I was 18, I was thinking what I'm doing in the next 5, what I'm doing the next 5, or the next 10. Now I got to think, oh shit, well, what I'm going to do it when I'm 40, what I'm going to do when I'm 45, when I'm 50, 60. Now I'm thinking like, okay, well, I got to get a house. I got to get my own gym, blah, 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 all these things that, you know, I kept putting on the side because, you know, it's not easy to be a full-time competitor or coach. People think like, oh yeah, you do what you like, you know, it's super easy. And it's not. Like, there's a bunch of things that happen, you know. There are things that people don't see behind the curtain, you know, like the weight cuts, the money you have to look for paying the trips.
Well, let's be honest. A lot of people think that we show up, and Gary and I, we talked about this all the time. A lot of people think that we just show up to the gym, to the academy, we teach, you know, 1 or 2 classes, and then we go and take a nap and we sleep all day long, and nothing happens after that. And we,
I gotta do a lot of gi laundry, guys. My gi laundry is like this: 3 classes, 3 gis, and then. And the next day you do 2 other classes at 5 keys. So in 2 days you got to wash 5 keys. Shit. Yeah. And then your laundry machine can only take 2 at a time. So well, that takes some energy, guys. And no, but I'm just kidding. No, we're humans, you know. We deal with like common things that everybody deal with. And believe it or not, it's really tiring to teach. Tell a motherfucker, sorry for the language. Tell him, hey, move your right hand. The motherfucker move the left hand, and you're like, you're on the right hand. The other right hand. The other right hand. So, do this, or do that, or And when I'm teaching, honestly, I put myself into the class. Like I'm not giving a half-ass job. You know, I don't like to do half-ass job. I never did. I consider myself very efficient with my time. I like to use my time. Like when I'm in the mat, I give 150%, 120%, whatever. It's more than 100 because. For me, that's also training. When I'm teaching is when I'm also sharpening my skill, you know, and when I'm teaching and I teach something wrong, I'm like, oh, correcting myself too, you know. So it's not only like, oh, I show up and I'm there and ha, 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 ha. No, you also have to talk to a bunch of people that come over with like a load on their back and they're hoping to talk to you or to have this interaction with you that will make them feel better after they leave. And I mean, I'm totally down with that. I feel like it's therapy, but to a certain degree, we also experience our own things, our own experiences, and
I feel like that's I feel like that's one of the most underestimated parts of being an instructor. The fact that everybody comes with their struggles, their problems, their obstacles, and they come to us. And like, I'm always happy to talk to people. I love talking to people. I love listening to people. But I think that's underestimated, the fact that if, you know, 150 or 200 people roll through the academy every single day and every single person talks to you, that could be overwhelming. Do you ever find yourself in that spot where it's just it's too much, it's a lot, it's a heavy load to interact with everybody?
Well, to be honest, it's quite interesting. I didn't kind of understood that for a while. Like, I couldn't like really understand why I was getting so drained after teaching. Like, but well, in this past, my 20s, I feel like I did this growing part of understanding my feelings, people's feelings, and putting myself in other people's shoes, and also protect my own energy, because to a certain degree, I can only give you so much, you know. And jiu-jitsu people, and sorry for saying this to whoever's listening to, but they're the most fucked up ones.
Thank you. Finally, finally a guest that I agree with. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Like,
well,
no. For instance, like the gym I work at, to certain extension, they help people like get back on their feet. Like they give them a place to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, go, we'll figure it out. We get you back on track, and I'm all about that. That's why I love it, because it's like not judgmental, but again, like, you gotta protect your energy. And I've been putting barriers on people, and people think I'm fucking rude or I'm like selfish, but it's like, I gotta be selfish, because if I put myself into helping you, your problems are gonna overwhelm my problems, and I don't need that.
Well, that's one. There's one point, but there was a second factor is when we help others and others don't return these favors, and it's not.
I'm not even expecting them to return. I'm not expecting them to return. I'm expecting them to thrive with my help.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, when we are helping others and they are not using the advice, or they are not using the path that we're trying to help them, and they literally just wasting time, that has to feel like, why am I here? Why am I helping? I'm wasting my time now, right? Because you don't even want to do what's suggested.
I give them some strikes. I give it a couple strikes, not even 3, just a couple. Like, I seen too many cases, of people. Like, after dealing with so many students, like, I've been teaching jiu-jitsu for 13 years now, so you start seeing patterns and profiles. So you kind of start reading, and you kind of know what to expect from people now at this point. So that's why, like I said, I protect myself. I know where I put my nickels. I'm like, okay, this guy deserves the help. I'll put myself and talk to him. I check. I'll check on him every now and then. Like, I ask. Of course, the jiu-jitsu part is like, oh yeah, you do the move and this and that, but then there's so much more, like, outside. So these days, it's kind of interesting how the dynamic goes outside of the mat with my students. I try to be also more helpful for them too. Like, before, I used to just go do my job, but then people don't think you care about them. They only see that, oh yeah, he just wants to teach and leave. But now, this is the part that I also changed as I grew up in this country, because I honestly came here when I was 21 and I had no idea of these things. I was just learning.
Before we get to your earlier years, let me ask you this. Do you think, is it a student's responsibility to get better, or is it the instructor's responsibility to get the student better? Who's responsible for that progress?
I think it's a 60-40%. It's more responsibility of the student and less responsibility of the coach. And this is something I was just mentioning to my students not that long ago. Everybody lights them up, and someone throws a speech, a quick run-up of what happened in the class, or how the progress of the class is going, or announcements. And one of these days I told, well, guys, look, student X, he goes and he is here and he pays attention and he learns everything he can hear, but then he go outside and he's looking for privates. He's looking for this, looking for that, calling this other friend to go drill, getting mats in his house so he can do more work, putting more hours, trying to do this, trying to do that. My job is here. I can only control what it's happening on these mats, but what's outside of the mat, it's up to you. And I can only do so much in here. So if you guys want to get better, you guys have to invest in privates, invest in instructionals, get to talk to someone that knows about this. Like, in anything in life, if you don't show an interest on doing a little bit more than what you should be, what you are expected to do, then you're gonna be average. So that's what this student X is my example against my other students. I was like, this guy, I'm not even trying to make him good. I'm just doing my job, and he's reaching out, looking for more. Sometimes, to an extension, that's annoying. Like, motherfucker be hitting me up at 11 p.m. asking me, like, why this sweep didn't work. And I'm not gonna joke, and I hope you guys can consume this, please, because this is hilarious. I made a joke. I was like, Brandon, every time you send me a message and it's 11 p.m., I'm gonna charge you $1 per reply.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
Wait, October 23rd, 2022, 9:59 p.m. $1. Question: horrible guard pull or amazing pass? Look, I'm not joking, guys.
I see it.
That's awesome.
$1.
Okay. because I left him on red. He sent me a message like at 8 p.m. And dude, it's Sunday. I was hanging out with my friend, like in the couch, melting, watching House of Dragons. Yeah, I don't want to talk about jiu-jitsu on Sunday. I already told at 10 a.m. on Sunday. So anyway, he sent me that. I was like, oh man, this is amazing. Whatever. I replied. I just replied and said, it's that.
For those of you who are listening to this, he literally showed us a screen with a $1 charge for the question.
Yep. And that student, I hope that student watches it. So
I
they
said
can
it
see
for
their
him
name.
not to text me. That's the whole point, that I was trying to charge him so he doesn't text
that's
me.
funny.
I mean, no, man, but this is the thing. Like, I like this guy a lot, and not only because he's a great guy, but I fucking love that student that tries to go out of his way to do more. And if you apply that in life, it's just gonna be amazing for you. You're gonna be good at anything. So I think it's a 60-40% like responsibility, 60% for the student to do more, and 40% on the professor to like. There's instructors that don't show interest on their students outside of the mat sometimes. And I mean, there's cases like, for example, if this guy goes to 2 gyms in San Diego, there's this culture where everybody has kind of like 2 gym memberships. And this one guy will go, example, Legion Jiu-Jitsu. Legion is in Miramar. So it's where I'm at, it's in Point Loma. So we're talking about 25 minutes drive. So a different zone. So he'll pay the membership to go to Legion like once, twice a week, and then he'll pay his membership to be at this gym because he can just commute because it's close to his house. So
explain what's the purpose behind that idea, to have a diversity of instructors and students, or in the training.
When you have a city with 90 gyms open, and one of these gyms is Atos, another one is Gracie Legions, Legion. Just to name a few big names, Alliance. There's a lot of people there, so yeah, you get your little neighborhood mat and then your big mat and far away from your neighborhood. So I feel like it's a cross training too that helps. I'm a little bit old school. I'm like in that clash of the new old school. Like that's my generation. Like right there where like the new and the old school were like old school was leaving, new school was coming in. Mm-hmm. You know, I can tell you my generation: Craig Jones, Renato Canuto, Dante, who else? Paquito Ramalho from Portugal, Espen, Langanker. Even Gordon Ryan was from my generation. So these people, just to mention a few, they're like from the new old school. Mm-hmm. Now the new school, but now we're becoming the old school. But I don't know. I still kind of have some feelings towards the old school that I think they are very good, but yet we still needed to leave some stuff behind.
So let's talk about that for a second. So what are your thoughts about cross training? I mean, is it a good thing for a student, or is it creating too much chaos?
Well, I grew up in Ecuador, and we had an alliance gym in kind of pretty much every corner because my professor was just blowing up the gyms, and like the students were good. So I'll cross train everywhere, but because we were under the same flag, so it was kind of okay. Yeah, we still compete against each other though, but I think it's really important to cross train. It kind of sucks sometimes because I wish I could provide everything that a student need or want, but we can only do so much. And then there's these other options. So I mean, I'm okay with my regular to go drink coffee in another coffee shop every now and then. You know, like I can't be jealous about that. If I am jealous, then I'm starting to show insecurities or things that are gonna make him feel like, oh, why does he feel like that? Maybe I should just move. So I feel like at this point in life, in jiu-jitsu life, we need to be pretty open to the idea of cross training. Of course, like I don't want my student to go to a place I don't like the instructor. You know, like that's more personal, but still, in the great scheme of things, it's good to have different body types rolling with you all the time because not everybody's gonna give you the same reaction. Your school doesn't do the same move that my school practice consistently. So my students never going to encounter this, but in competition. The best cross training for me is competition, but people want to win in competition. So what can you do to get there and not be surprised? Because sometimes you get to competition, you're like, oh, I never seen this move before. You know, when you're like, I'm talking about white to purple belt, not brown to black. We're talking about beginners. So I feel like it's okay. Like, they need to, like, they have to, man. If you don't cross train, the chances of you growing and seeing stuff that you might not see in your gym are gonna be hitting a ceiling, and then that's when you're gonna be like, oh yeah, maybe I need to change gyms. So I'm not against. Yet I do appreciate people's loyalty towards the time that a person invests. That being said, another thing that people confuse is that this is also a transaction.
You're talking about the membership. You're talking about people
exactly.
being part of the...
I am a service, and you pay for my service.
Yeah.
So if you stop paying for my service, are you unloyal? No, you just don't want to pay for a service that you don't like, or that you just don't feel it matches your time because of a schedule or work, or, you know, you're here, you're up, you're north, south, like whatever you are, and you cannot make it. Like, I cannot be mad at any of those things, you know, like it's a service. So it's a client. I have to treat him like, you know, as good as you would treat a client. And then if you don't want your service anymore, shake his hand. Thank you for making business. Come back anytime.
But Johhny, I got to tell you, like this is one of the hardest things for me. Like as an instructor, as a business owner, as academy head instructor, or, you know, academy owner, you know, we do create these relationships with our students.
I was just going there. I knew you were going to mention it.
And like,
now, the deal is like when you're friends with a guy outside of the gym and you have a relationship, like a personal relationship, those are two different things.
Right.
And that's fucked up.
But how do you separate that? Because like having an academy where it's only transaction, it's only service, it's killing the culture. It's killing this cohesive, like this bond, this team.
The community,
right,
like
community, exactly.
The community. Yeah,
exactly.
I get you.
At the same time, if you have only
difficult.
Community, like everybody's going to come, well, I want to train for free, you know, I want this discount, I want the other thing, all these, and like, listen, like I got to feed my own kids, I got to pay this guy who doesn't do anything all day long, but I still got to pay him, and like, you know, and like, you know, it is such a, I feel like it is such a difficult situation. Wouldn't you agree?
Of course, no. I've been in a position where like I had to say I had this relationship with this student. This is an example. Like I have such a good relationship with this student, man, and he was my friend outside of the gym, and we used to hang out every weekend to parties or clubs or bars and stuff, and do other things that are not just jiu-jitsu related, you know. And then I had to kind of like accept the fact that he wasn't going to train with me anymore because of X reason, you know, and random reason. And then I was like, well, now I have to also let go of a friend.
Yeah.
And that's hard, but honestly, man, something that I understood with time is like, we cannot make people feel obligated to do anything. And if they really want to stay, they're always gonna find a way to stay around you. I feel like if you have a friendship or relationship, these relationships always need to find the way mid ground, you know, like where you're happy and he's happy and no one is being taken advantage to a certain degree, you know?
Yeah.
So like, for example, if you're my friend and you ask me for a fucking free tuition, I'll be like, fuck off.
Well, we talk about that a lot, right? Because
fuck off.
Right.
Straight up. Like, why? Like, okay, listen, if I go to your coffee shop, are you going to serve me for free or are you going to charge me? I'm okay with paying because I'm going to a coffee shop, so I'm going to have to pay. Now, if you want to give me the service for free, that's your decision.
Yeah.
So if you want to give free membership to a person that maybe, now here's the deal. He's my friend. He don't have money right now. And he told me when I get back on my feet, I'll get paid. I'll pay you again. Cool. How can you pay me? Clean the mat. I don't know. Do my gi laundry. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah.
So when we have these people that don't want to pay or can't pay, because there's a difference. I don't want to pay and I can pay.
Yeah.
Then you give them a job, because then their time is money. Like, so it's mine. So, for instance,
well, come on, Johhny. No one wants to clean the mats. Nobody wants to go get you coffee. Like, who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do it. Everybody wants free memberships, free training, free privates, everything for free. You know.
No, but I feel like that also depends on how you set the bar at the gym. You know, I straight up don't care. Like, I'm not gonna teach for free. Look, so. Why? Because like I don't go to the car dealership and I just grab a car for free because we're friends. Like, it's not how it works.
Right.
And you're not paying me, and people don't get this. And this is something that I also, now that I'm older, I started learning. I used to be like, oh yeah, that's too expensive, I can afford it. Then I don't buy it, and I don't make a story, and I don't ask for free, unless you want to give it for free. I'll throw the idea, and if you want to give it for free, of course you will give it to me. If you don't want to, then no, make me pay. And if I cannot pay, well, there's nothing happening there. But if
Gary and I, we talk about this all the time. Like, if it's really your friend, go to his coffee shop every day and buy the coffee.
Yes.
If it's really your friend, go get your hair done. Tip them double. They are your friend.
Okay, for example,
why wouldn't you support them?
I went to my friend's restaurant. She works, she serves at this place, and she told me like, I never been to the place. I was like, oh, I'm gonna come over one of these days to visit you, and yeah, if you come up, well, it's not hers. She don't own it. She's like, she works there, so it's different. And she was like, well, when you come, I'll take care of that, everything. Don't worry, you don't have to pay anything. I was like, what are you talking about? I want to pay. I'm okay. Yeah. I'm not even gonna tip you. It's your time. No, don't worry. So well, I ended up going, and I asked her my check, and she's like, no, don't worry. I was like, why you do this to me? I can pay. I'm not broke. I'm not 18 anymore where I didn't have money to pay or tip. It was embarrassing, man. I didn't have. You have to understand that. Yeah, we're generalizing, but you know who can pay and you know who can't.
Yeah. I always end up paying more money at a friend's place than I do at a regular place.
100%.
100%. I mean, also, it's okay to get sponsored too, ask for free, but it's because you're doing something.
but then your time, right? We've already talked about time is money. Yeah, so
but
you're
I think
doing something.
All of this boils down to the intent. It's not about, like, in my mind at least, it's not about who pays, who doesn't pay, who can pay, who cannot pay. But it's all about the intent. It's like, I want to support you because you are my friend. Like, I want you to be successful. Like, everybody wants to be your friend when you are successful, when you achieved your goals, when you have a huge academy, when you are famous, when you made that movie, when that restaurant is blowing up. Everybody wants to be your friend. But nobody wants to be your friend when you're freaking grinding in trenches and freaking your sleeves are coughed up and your hands are dirty. Nobody, like, that's when you need your friends. That's when you can show your support. Freaking go get the damn coffee, stop complaining. I get so worked up about these things.
But it's a thing that happens a lot in jiu-jitsu, dude. Like, if you think about it, like I said, like, I understand if you are helping a person getting back on his feet, and that's cool, but we cannot mix these type of relationships with the gym. Like, if you're a friend, you're a friend. If you train with me, cool, but you gotta pay.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I agree.
Like I said, if you don't like that and you leave because of that, then you were my friend at any point.
Yeah.
Right.
At any point.
And if you're still training, you're paying for it somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they're going to leave. If they're going to keep training, they're still paying for it. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, let's say this guy that pays, he brings so much to the table that I think he doesn't deserve to be charged anymore, that's different. Oh, why? Because, well, every time I get a white belt, he's over there in the corner working with him without me asking. Example. Or every time I'm like doing this, he's helping me with new people, or like bringing stuff, like bringing people. Like, everything is according on how people do their things. So
I agree.
I don't know. I just don't like, to be honest, people that just want free tuition, free privates. And it happened to me, like, when we talk about sponsorships. This person came at me, a student, at some point. He was like, "Hey, can you give me that?" Like, no, he didn't ask like that, but he said, "Don't you get this for free?" Because I was selling this gi, and he said, "Don't you get this for free?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I get it for free, but that's because I've been fucking grinding my ass off for 13 years. So this company sent me this free product because I earned it.
Yeah. So
this is money that I'm gonna sell." Yeah, but why don't you sell them to me cheaper? Like, no, this is the value of the thing on the page. Why would I sell it for less? So I'm selling myself short to help you when you do have the money to pay. So I have these weird interactions. Like, A&P will send me shit, and people will be like, "Oh, sell it for me for half a price," and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah, I feel like as jiu-jitsu continues evolving and it continues getting bigger, I think some of these problems slowly begin to disappear, and I think we just have a little bit more. I don't know.
Well, it's the business
it's
savvy
the
of the United States.
Right. I
know.
think it continues evolving. It's much easier than it was 20 years ago. And
my God!
I think,
no, it used to be such a wild fucking.
It was a wild west.
ground.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Listen, let's pivot the topic a little bit. Do you remember your very first day on the mat?
Of course, I never forgot.
Tell me.
Well, it was right. It was like a few months after I got in this street altercation. This fight was kind of like what brought me into jiu-jitsu. And my
What
stepdad
happened?
told me we were fighting over bullshit or like this girl's fucking skirt. And she was playing both of us. I figured we were 15, man. Like, what the fuck do we know, you know? And then me and he were exchanging words and this. We ended up fighting. And one common thing that happened is that we ended up on the ground like 3 times for some reason. You know, one would grab we do the front headlock, the other one would do whatever, or we trip when we're fighting. And anyway, I didn't end up winning the fight. I'll say I took the beat. Then I ended up going to my stepdad, who is a Kempo Karate black belt. I was like, hey, can you show me some moves so I can like protect myself or something? Because I noticed that I don't know how to fight. I don't know how to box. I don't know how to strike. I don't know what the fuck. I ended up on the floor a bunch of times. Well, anyway, he started teaching me boxing. I started taking classes with him, this and that. And he said one day, but after, before I say all of this guy was really obsessed with Pride, UFC, blah, blah, blah. So he was buying like all the VHS and the DVDs on Pride and UFC. I'm telling you, in 2005, 2003. But I hated it, so I never watched it. I was so into soccer. So, anyways, I got to him, and he's like, "Okay, well, there's an MMA fight. You wanna come watch?" I was like, I guess I'll learn something. So I went, I watched the fights, really good fights. Of course, really rustical, we'll say rustical because not like unexperienced people, because I don't know, like MMA is not very well developed back on those days.
Was that TV or live?
Was live.
That was live. So you went to the
He was
event.
there at the event. Yes.
It was amazing. I was like seeing these guys in the cage, and then I in the glimpse of my eye, I look at this crowd chanting "aha ooh ooh alianse aha ooh," and I'm like, what's going on? sounds like a soccer team is playing, and then I look, and there's a bunch of kids my age and other guys too, older, and my professor was about to fight, so that's why they were like going crazy. And anyways, my professor, his name is Fernando Soluso. He's a 5th degree black belt under Fabio Gurgel. And was fucking getting his ass whooped, man. Got no striking whatsoever. And the other guy did, but towards the end of the fight, with like 2 minutes left, I don't know, I think he fell, and then as he fell, he set up the triangle, poof, choke him. End of the fight. And
wait a minute, so he was losing, and then
Of
he
course.
triangle.
Then it went to the ground.
Went to the ground. He
As soon
triangled.
as it went to the ground.
And I was like, holy moly, what the fuck is this? Like, can you imagine? I've never seen this live. I've seen the videos that he showed me, but not even, because every time I'll go watch, I'll watch for 5 minutes and I just leave the room and wait for him to play movies when he's done watching his UCs, you know? So this is way before Netflix, guys. No, we're talking about 2000. This is 2009. We didn't have Netflix. People are so spoiled these days. We get to choose between movies like whatever we want. But
So what's going through your mind? You see him triangle him.
I just didn't know what the fuck. I just look at him and I was like, "Can you put me into this? I want to learn this." And then he said, "Okay, cool, deal. But I want you to get good grades. So your mom can give me shit about that." I was like, "All right. Straight A's, kill it." I'm the guy that whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to win it. And I'm going to do it correctly. I don't half-ass shit. Don't like that. Never like. That's why I just started jiu-jitsu and could never stop.
What were your grades before that day?
They were okay, but I just did enough.
So you just
like I
didn't
said,
have to.
efficient. Like I told you, I'm efficient. I'll do just enough to just.
So
Because I didn't even know what I wanted to do. So I was
Yeah.
like I was turning 16 that year. I didn't know what I wanted to do for my life, to be honest. Like I was in junior year in high school. So that junior, senior, right? That's how it is, right? Because we call grades by numbers back home. So I was in the junior and senior, and I just didn't know. I was like, oh man, I study marketing. I'm really good at sales. But I just didn't know. And then, well, ended up getting my grades really good. Go to him, show him the report. He's like, all right, cool. You made it. All right, cool. Let's go. Go to the car. You pay 3 months up front. Bought me a judo gi because we didn't have gis because jiu-jitsu was rare, and to import stuff in Ecuador is really expensive and hard. So we didn't have kimonos. I mean, we have, but like it's hard to get one, you know. So we were getting judo gis from whatever. I got a judo gi. I remember it was like kind of short. It was like up to here.
Yeah.
But at that point in 2009, whatever that gets you in the mat is acceptable, you know. So went there. I remember I learned Americana, Kimura, Ambar. And then that day I was like, oh, I want to roll. I want to see what's up. And I was rolling with my friend. His name is Martin. We're still friends to this day. Of course, he's a brown belt now. He stopped training for a long time because he moved to America to do engineering for cars. And I remember he foot swept me 5 times, man. And I remember going feet to the ceiling, feet to the ceiling, boom, landing. This hurts. Okay, go again. He did a master class in takedowns on me that day. But I was thrilled. I just enjoyed it because I was like, every time I would go back, the first takedown wouldn't work. So he would try a second one. And then that just got my head wrapped around jiu-jitsu. I went to bed and I remember I slept belly down that night. Imagine how crazy. But no, I just never forgot. I'm telling you, that day was like, I just couldn't sleep. I was rehearsing in my head, Americana, Kimura, Ambar, repeating it, like with my eyes closed. As I was trying to sleep to wake up to for the next day to go to school. Next day in school, I was like, guys, man, jiu-jitsu, and then I just never stopped. It was crazy. And I'll tell you the date, June 3rd, 2009. This could be a Tuesday. That accurate, I'm sure. That sure I am. So, and then after that, man, it was interesting because it made my life a lot better. I was dealing with personal business, you know. My family was split. My parents were already divorced, but there was always issues between them. My grandma, who was holding the household together, not only in the relationship wise, but monetarily wise too. She was dying of cirrhosis. So we were taking care of her. We didn't know what was going to happen. My family was fighting for money because she was rich. We weren't rich. My poor friends think I'm rich, and my rich friends think I'm poor. So that's that. So she was like dying, man, and I just couldn't bear to deal with that at home, sitting there just being sad all day, because that's just, you don't like to see anyone die, especially someone like raised you and gave you so much. So I started going to jiu-jitsu as a getaway from that. And then I think before I had a year of training, she died, she passed away. That day I wanted to go train. I was like, I'm sorry, I need to go train. My mom was like, no, not today, please. This is the only day I ask you not to leave. Any other day in the past year, I let you, not today. Just stay here with us. And then anyway, I wouldn't even take day off because I just love it so much. And even I had to deal with this situation, I wanted to like just be there. Because it's, you know, you practice jiu-jitsu, guys. Mm-hmm. It's just, there's no time to think about anything else, but the guys are going to try to strangle you. So, and well, years later, I discovered that this is called mindfulness. So for me, jiu-jitsu is the best therapy to learn how to use mindfulness on your favor. And it got me away from doing drugs. It got me away from partying hard. I would lose my shit and, you know, do stupid decisions. I always thinking about like, oh, I got to train tomorrow. So it always gave me purpose. And it's sad because also yesterday I was here in this gym too, and I was talking to the founder of this gym, and we were saying like, it's crazy how people never find their dream job or their career or their calling life, and they are just living and just doing things without
purpose.
For me, when I got jiu-jitsu in my life, remember I just said I didn't know what career I was going to choose. I said, oh, maybe marketing. The day I did jiu-jitsu, I fucking knew this was mine, dude. I don't know. God made me for this. If you believe in God or life. But I was like, this is mine. This is me. This is, wow. And of course, I have a bunch of setbacks. My dad wouldn't like it, especially because my stepdad got me into that. So of course, jealousy and hating because Ecuador is a third world country with a very conservative mind. So, weed is like satanic, or any other type of drugs is satanic, or different stuff. People just have their mind really closed. So they couldn't see me doing jiu-jitsu as a career where I will make a living or a decent living in their eyes. So it was me going against the world in that time. So it was a very interesting time in my life when I started. It gave me hope. And like I said,
what do you think that first day when you went to the academy, when you did that class, when you that night you're sleeping your belly down and you're rehearsing everything in your head, what do you think was so addictive about jiu-jitsu? Why was it so stimulating for you? Have you ever thought about that? Like, what this was like, listening to you right now is, there's no question that day changed your life, period. But have you thought about why? What exactly happened that day that really pivoted in that direction?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was doing in high school in Ecuador. They give you, in the last 3 years, they make you choose like a career path. So they make you choose between like careers that will make you go into being a teacher or being a lawyer, or things that are more like regarding words or reading, And then there's physics and math career, and then chemistry. So you have to choose one of these three when you're in the last 3 years of high school. Math in Ecuador is really good. Like, the level of math is really fucking good. Math and physics are really good. We have a bunch of schools that are really good. People that have actually won stuff internationally from Ecuador because of math. And our level is really high. So in high school, the school that I went wasn't a big school, but the demand was really high on physics and maths, apparently. So I chose that one path. And I was really good at doing math, equations, physics. I didn't like geometry, to be honest. That's why I didn't want to be like architect or something like that, because I didn't like it. I didn't like that part of the formulas. But the equations were really interesting to me, like all these things. So I was really good at that. And I wanted to become, well, I said marketing because I knew it was kind of easy. Like I said, at that time, I was always doing stuff to be efficient. Just enough to not get people on my ass, giving me shit. So jiu-jitsu kind of became like a huge math problem, an equation. And I always compare it. It's like jiu-jitsu is like math. It's like physics. And then there's a lot of things that I've heard from other people that are really knowledgeable, and they are like, comparing it to math. I was like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, for example, when I'm passing guard and I'm explaining people how to pass guard, I'm like, there's a plane and you cannot pass on the positive, because the positive is where the guard is strong. You got to pass on the negative plane and go around that. So I started, like, in my head, it started to like somehow clack, 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 click together. It's crazy. I'm not good at math anymore. I'm good at jiu-jitsu. So not even asking about math for shit.
I was about to drop you a math problem, but never mind.
No. But all these things starting to like combine in my head, and it was just pretty interesting. And it's like a jiu-jitsu is problem solving situation, So that's what you do with equations. You solve the equation, you simplify. So, for example, yesterday I quote this. I was like, guys, I'm showing you all these steps, and I'm being really annoying with the details, because right now you guys have to learn. When we learn equations, you learn every step of the equation until you are really good, and then you can simplify all the process and then give like a straight up answer. That's what happened with jiu-jitsu. When you're really good at arm triangles, you can simplify everything. But when you don't know, you're gonna miss a bunch of shit that you just don't know. So this is kind of how I started seeing like how jiu-jitsu related to just anything, math, life, and I think that was, now that I look back and you ask me, made me think about it. I think that's what made me really like.
It is interesting. It is interesting because I do feel that the engineering minds, the mathematic minds, the people who love troubleshooting and find troubleshooting easier, those are the ones who find jiu-jitsu easy. They can get through these troubleshooting points. They can figure stuff out. They can almost self-learn, if you will, go through these points of conflicts and figure stuff out, the mechanics of jiu-jitsu, and their success, might not necessarily be higher, but they definitely find it easier to go through it. Would you agree with that?
No, definitely.
Yeah, like
definitely.
With your students?
This guy Brandon, the one that paid me the $1 on the Venmo app, he's actually a math teacher for after school, like he helps the kids with math and stuff. Yeah. And he's obsessed too. So, I saw that on him, and I was like, you like math, that's why you are so fixated with problem solving.
We got a couple students here. Some of them do spreadsheets and others do freaking. Never mind. But it seems that way, that those engineering brains are the ones that can simplify jiu-jitsu for themselves. Do you think teaching is hard? Is difficult?
Well, honestly, I think it can be a skill that you develop with time, or you're really natural at that. So why can you be natural teaching? Because you're very patient, and you are probably, if you're natural, it's because you're naturally patient, and you are born with with a set of words, or you learn a set of words that will make you very easy to explain things, because sometimes the problem is not knowing how to word things, not knowing how to say things. For example, when I moved to America, the challenge for me to teach, it was like the language barrier. I had a hard time sometimes. I still do, like sometimes I can remember a little name of a word, of a thing, like for example, yesterday I was talking to my friend. We were trying to screw this thing to the wall, and I couldn't remember the name of the little piece that goes on the drill. The drill bit? The pit. See, that type of thing will happen to me. I'm like,
Gary knows. I'm 4-2. Gary knows.
Well, we've talked to people that have traveled from Brazil to Eastern Europe, and they're teaching in Eastern Europe. They had no clue what the language was, right? Yeah. And there's nothing, it's not like Portuguese and Spanish where there's some, they can fake it, or there's some overlap. They're now in Slovenia, and so now they have to speak that language of jiu-jitsu, the physicality of it, right? Which I think is the flip side of what you're talking about, is you need to now be able to guide people physically,
knowing how to point things out, knowing how to sometimes when I can't remember a word, I try to go around it so I can get it. Or I developed this relationship with some students where they'll finish my sentence. It was easy. It was amazing. It made my teaching better, and I started learning better English because of that. Yeah. So honestly, I take highly pride on I can speak fluent English these days, versus 6 years ago when I officially moved, because I was traveling a lot back and forth in 2015, 16 to Ecuador and LA. But then 2017, I was like, I'm staying. So I'm about to be 6 years here, and then honestly, I am capable of having a fluent conversation. I got no problem teaching. I can make them understand. But again, I think it's a skill that you can develop, or you're just naturally born with that. There's people that are just naturally patient and know how to word things for other people. They just are. Yeah. Different type of intelligence. It's hard to tell that guy, oh, he's not intelligent, he's not smart because he cannot do jiu-jitsu. No, maybe he's not smart for that. maybe he's smart for other things.
Right.
So definitely teaching is difficult to an extension, but I feel like if also the students don't want to learn, that makes it a lot harder. But when you have a group of people that are like, very committed to the teaching part, to learning from you, it makes it easy. I feel like key notes for people that are jumping into the teaching experience right now is like, just be patient. People don't learn as fast as you learn. That's another thing that I had to understand, come to an agreement. Like to an extension, I was a fast learner. I got my black belt in 7 years, guys. So that says like, oh yeah, he learns fast, but not everybody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has it. So you have to be more compassionate, have more compassion of these people and help them and understand that it's not their obligation to be good at this. They're just here because they want to be better in other aspects in their life. So you got to be patient with them. Take the slow road with them. There's other students that I'm like, I see them do hip skates. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be easy to teach. Cool.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. And matter of fact, over years of teaching and being on the mat, that's one of the skills that I really had to be very patient with. Really had to think about this, that not everybody learns the same pace. Matter of fact, I have some students that, you really have to put time in with them. One-time explanation is not enough. Like, I have some students that you simply say, hey, listen, watch this side. Here are three points of focus, really make sure that this is in line, blah, blah, blah. And then the other students, you really have to put time and over and over and over. And still sometimes there's difficulties and complexities, and really having that compassion and empathy and just passion for teaching, I think really what separates a lot of, okay instructors with the phenomenal ones. The ones who you walk in the room and is like, yeah, I want to learn from that guy. Yeah, he's just freaking, no matter what, it's just, he's phenomenal. And that's,
I mean, not everybody can be Danaher, But,
yeah, listen, there's, we got, there's only one Danaher, there's only one Marcelo Garcia, and, it's just, there's only one Hadra Gracie. Like, it is what it is, But I think, at least in my opinion, we all can learn to be better instructors. I think there's a lot of black belts out there, and people will get pissed off. They'll be pissy with me about this, but it's just, there's a lot of black belts out there who don't care to get better as instructors. They don't.
And I don't think they should be a black belt.
Well,
because of that.
But I understand.
Because of not knowing how to teach, a black belt for me should be a person, not only a good character, and they shouldn't only have a good character, but they should be able to explain the art, because the black belt is like an ambassador, a diplomatic of jiu-jitsu, and this person represents the art. So if this person cannot teach someone how to do something in jiu-jitsu, they shouldn't be a black belt.
So
in my opinion.
I get that, but how about teaching a class then, a whole class? Because I think that's two different things. You might be able to sit down with an individual and show them something.
If you're gonna teach a class, well, for example, here, I work with this guy. His name is Michael Cusi. He's not like big on like social media or like big on the jiu-jitsu scenario. He's just one of those guys that just is very humble, don't give a fuck about any clout or anything or any social exposure. He just wants to teach jiu-jitsu and do jiu-jitsu, and he's one of like the best instructors I ever met in my life. Honestly, you learn a whole bunch of him on how to teach some people. And well, he will make his brown belts start teaching because he tells them that they're not going to get their black belt until they know how to teach.
So I think there is something behind it, and again, not every black belt will have an academy. Not every black belt will be a world champion. Like, I think those are important acknowledgments too, but I think there is something behind this. I think it's unfortunate.
It's a skill that you can learn. It's a skill that you can learn, like I said.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, I think a lot of people underestimate the fact that as a black belt, you should be able to teach. You should be willing to learn how to teach and relay that art to the others who are in front of me, because a lot of people
that's the next step,
up.
Right? In the evolution of your own jiu-jitsu, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. I'm not there, but we talked to a ton of people who, when they get, we used to have the question, what was it like when you got your black belt? And they always talk about, well, now it's starting all over, right? The people that I think really care, and now they have to give back, right? And I think that's all part of teaching.
I think regardless of what belt you wear, the moment you start teaching, whether it's kids or adults, the moment you stand in front of the class, your jiu-jitsu changes. Your mind changes, the way how you look at it, the way how you analyze that information, the way how you talk about it, the way how you transfer the information to another student, and regardless of their age or capabilities, it is phenomenal. I think if you want to learn jiu-jitsu in a larger capacity, you need to step on the mat as an instructor. You have to.
Like I said earlier, like when I'm teaching, I start correcting my own mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're teaching, you guys teach.
Yeah.
So you do this thing every day, but you never teach it. And then when you're teaching it, you start seeing, oh, this is off.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why I've been missing this position in the sparring. So I believe it's a skill that you need to learn if you really want at some point be an instructor or anything. But if you're not, it's okay. Not everybody is supposed to teach, and not everybody is supposed to have a black belt either, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
That's why I always say, like, I only want to hand 10 black belts in my life. That's it.
Oh,
and
that's
those 10 people are gonna be good person, know how to teach, and good grappler. Those are the 3 requirements.
I think that's a good goal. All right, Johhny, before we start wrapping this up, one of the things that we do at the end of each episode is our previous guest, the one before you, asked a question, and they didn't know that you will be sitting in the chair today. So they asked a question without knowing who will be answering. Gary's going to take a lead on this. This will be interesting.
This is a good one. So Paul Sharp was here, SBG coach.
Who?
Paul Sharp. He's
Old
an
school.
old school guy. He's a Chris Howder black belt. He teaches at SBG in Idaho, right? Yeah. And his question is, if you could start over, what would you do differently? How would you train differently? And how would you address recovery? So it's a 3-parter.
If I could start again and talk to myself back on the day, I'll say take more days off.
I think every black belt says that.
Take more days off. Jiu-jitsu is always going to be there. Number 1. Number 2, listen to older people that might not have the same experience to you in jiu-jitsu, but are athletic as you are, and they deal with injuries. I was warned about a bunch of shit that's happening to me today, and I was just like, I'm young, I don't care, I'm strong. So I would say listen to older people's advice. 3, I will ask him to do less crazy pojada training and develop more like a drilling schedule, where, as you know, instead of just going fucking killing myself with my friends, we do that, but we work on specifics on the training, on like sharpened techniques. I thought I knew basics until I was a black belt.
Let me ask you this as a follow-up question. Do you think if you met your younger self, right? You went back and you gave this advice to the young Johhny.
He wouldn't listen.
That's what.
We never do.
Yeah,
right?
I was about I think everybody says the same thing and nobody would listen. I think
somebody posted a meme not that long ago. If I could go back, and it was like a beautiful picture of an older person and a boy, and I was like, I wouldn't have listened. It would have done no good. I would have told myself I was full of shit.
I wouldn't even get mad at this guy. I would get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, don't come at me with that.
You don't know.
What do you know?
How
much money are you making?
It's okay.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, I did have some good guidance when I grew up. The only one thing I would say is like to take care of more of my injuries. Some people know, some people don't know this, but I haven't had an ACL in my knee for like about 6 years now. And a lot of people told me get the surgery, and I was like, I don't want to get the surgery because I don't want to be out for 1 year. And honestly, I do not regret the decision. Yet sometimes I'm like, well, if I would have taken the year off, I would have got my ACL back. But at the same time, I believe that you can work around your injuries and things that can be upsetting in your career. So it's always good to listen to advice. That's the only way you're gonna get be old. So yeah, I'll say like those three things. Be more patient with your training. Take days off. Let your injuries heal, and be more specific with your training. I believe people need to stop being just crazy and the fact that, I'm gonna go roll. No, you can make your training more efficient by doing less. So Cyber Abreu told me, because I kind of asked something similar, and he about training. He said, "Well, I prefer now quality versus quantity."
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have this type of training, like the quality training. You don't want to go waste your time, and that's the best advice. Pick quality over quantity.
I love it. Before we formally finish this, Johhny, where can people find you? If anybody wants to reach out to you, website, social media, where are you at?
Well, guys, I'm really easy to find. My name is Johhny Tama on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. I'm on Tama Place. And also, if you go to my Instagram or my Facebook, I have a link tree. In that link tree, you're going to find the address to my email. You're going to find my WhatsApp. You're going to find all my other social media that I just mentioned, and all my DVDs and instructional videos that are online with BJJ Fanatics, Seminarios, which is in Spanish, instructional in Spanish is the only one I have in Spanish so far. And then also you're going to find my grappling record, and you're going to find my bio and a special Fix My Game episode that I made with Flow Grappling 3 years ago. So that's on my link tree on my Instagram or my Facebook. You guys can go ahead and look for it there.
And we'll make sure, as always, to put some of those links in the description of this episode.
I'll send it to you.
So, feel free to tap into the information. Reach out to Johhny if you need or have any additional questions. And what a great conversation. I really appreciate you being here. What a great and.
It was fun. It was a fun one.
He's a funny guy.
No, wait, and honestly, guys, I look up at the time and I was like, shit, 1 hour?
Yeah.
Go for 2 more. We could have talked for 2 hours.
It did.
It flew by.
Anytime you guys want to bring me back, I'm down, guys. Sorry for last time. I had a couple of incidents happening that messed up my schedule and things got worked out.
No worries. We are here.
For a
that's
reason.
the
We're
important
here now.
part.
Yep.
All right, let's wrap this up officially. Thanks for Johhny. Thanks for being here. Thanks for talking to us. What a great, inspiring story. Gary?
Thanks. Yeah, that's all I can say. And I really, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. And today we had a really, really fun one. So insightful and fun. So that's a great episode for me. Thank you.
All right, Johhny.
Thank you, Gary.
Take care.
Thank you, Tom.
Peace.
God bless. See you guys. Call me anytime. Much love.
Thank you for listening to RŌL Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.